Hello, I'm John Bolt, and I'm a freshman here at UNC, and I'm in Professor Cohen's English 105 class. Throughout the third unit of this semester, we've been learning about mindfulness through lectures with Paula Huffman and Susan Gaylord, along with other resources that Professor Cohen has given us. After gaining a general understanding of mindfulness, our class decided to do an informal experiment to test the effects that mindfulness would have on all of us. Through this experiment, we practiced one form of meditation for at least 20 minutes a day. After practicing meditation, we would write in a diary about how our state of being before and after meditation, and we did this for a 7-day period. We were trying to answer the question of how would our state of being change over the 7-day period that we did meditation. We started off with a baseline, and this was how we felt before starting this experiment. And for me, my baseline, I was very tired and stressed. At the time I was writing it, I guess, and I was worried about like the future as well as like final exams and grades that have been coming up. The practices that I did throughout this experiment were I mainly did meditative walks. We had 3 options. We could do meditative walks, sitting meditation, or body scans. And for the most part, I did meditative walks every day, except one day I wasn't able to. I had to do a sitting meditation. Through this experiment, there wasn't a ton of key milestones I would say I hit. I definitely noticed one thing I noticed was a difference between day 5 and day 8. So for day 5, it was a day before I registered for my classes next semester, and I was very stressed out, and it was just very weighing heavily on my mind. And I went on a meditative walk, and I ended up feeling a lot more relaxed after the walk and probably generally less stressed out for that day. And then the difference between that and day 8 is it was a Friday, and I was very excited to be done with school for the week, and I was going to do a football game on Saturday next day, and I was very excited about it. And I still did a walk because this was the last day of the experiment, and I noticed that it was not my state of being did not change at all. I was on the walk. I was very excited, looking forward to it, and didn't change after that. I was still excited, pumped up for the weekend. The main thing that I think I learned from this experiment is that meditation can be very relaxing, but in my personal opinion, I never noticed a very big change in my overall state of being. I would say after each meditative walk, I felt more relaxed and calm, but it didn't necessarily last long, and I still was stressed out in other aspects of my day. Definitely, I mean, like I said earlier, key event I experienced, definitely class registration. That was a peak of how stressed out I felt. And meditating helped it, but I wouldn't say it was like an answer that I felt. I think a transition point for me in this experiment was definitely day 7. Day 7, I noticed that I enjoyed going on these walks, even though I wouldn't say I felt extremely different after. It was a relaxing time in my day, and it was nice. I thought it was very nice to go out and enjoy nature and just be outside and not worried about things. And definitely after I came back from these walks, I was more relaxed, and so I did notice at day 7 I enjoyed going on these walks. Possible relation to that, like a correlation, I think being outside is relaxing in general and breathing fresh air. So I think this was a reason that I felt more relaxed and enjoyed going on these walks. Some patterns that I noticed during this experiment was I always had a hard time focusing. I noticed it got better after the walks, but it was always generally hard for me to focus. I did improve at this over the experiment, but it was always very hard to stay focused during it. I also, another pattern, just generally feeling more relaxed afterwards, especially when stressed out. It was a lot more relaxing. And I mean, another pattern would be when I was not as stressed out, the walks didn't have as big as an impact. I think correlations that I've noticed during this experiment was breathing was a big one. Definitely helped me calm down, and in my opinion, it gave me something to focus on instead of other things, especially when I was stressed out. It's definitely eased my mind. And another correlation was the more I meditated, the easier it was to focus. Even though I never felt like I did a great job of doing it, it definitely changed from day 1 to day 8. It was definitely more I was able to focus more easily. There's no anomalies I noticed in this. The one main difference I had was during day 5, I practiced sitting meditation. The one day I couldn't do a walking meditation, and it was much harder for me to do that. Very hard focusing, very hard to sit still. Just a hard time, and definitely, I mean, I would say it helped, but not as much going on the walks. It was more out of my comfort zone, and it just wasn't. That wasn't my style, basically. Reversal. I never felt like I was going backwards during any time at meditation during this experiment. It was hard to focus for sure, but I never felt like this is making me more stressed out or is having negative effects on my health. In my overall mindset, I would say I don't think I really experienced big effects. I did feel more relaxed after the walks, but the next day I felt the same. The night I still felt the same. Wasn't really. I don't think I really saw a big change in my overall state of being. And there's some explanations for that. Possibly, I was not trying hard enough to focus and meditate. Also, I could have meditated for longer than I did. I generally did the bare minimum, which was 20-minute meditation. Maybe meditating for longer, twice a day, would have helped me see more changes to my state of being. I think the major limitation I noticed from this experiment was that it wasn't long enough. I think if we had done this experiment for more than 7 days, then we'd see more effects, probably. More effects like decrease in stress and like feeling more energetic and being able to focus more. I think another limitation just on the results of this experiment is that we all recorded our own diary. So if you could lie about things and not record accurately how you felt, but I mean nothing. You can't really fix that. It's just on the participant to record their results. One thing I know after this experiment is that when I practiced mindfulness when I was stressed, it calmed me down. And I genuinely feel like that. And also that I enjoyed going on the walks. Maybe not as much at first, but through the end of the experiment, I look forward to going on these walks every day. One thing I think I know about mindfulness now, I'm not 100% sure, but if you do practice this with enough time and discipline, it will work. And you will see great impacts to your health. I think the more time and more consistent you can practice mindfulness, the better off you'll be. And I think going forward, I'm going to be practicing it more because I know it will. I think I know it will help me greatly. The thing I don't really know after this experiment is how long it takes to see the effects of mindfulness. And I think this can vary between people. Some people may see results very quickly. Others, it may take a long time. So that would be up in the air. I think another thing I'm not sure of is, do some forms of meditation work better than others? I know I usually went on meditative walks, and that was what I felt most comfortable doing. So I wonder if other forms are better, or if mixing them up is a better thing. From the things we learned about in class, my results are somewhat similar. I would say we learned about the effect of mindfulness overall, like decreasing stress, reducing health problems. And I think in my 7-day period, I was more relaxed, but I didn't see any of these major effects that we learned about in class. The thing I would alter about this experiment would be just making it a longer period of time, maybe do it for 2 weeks. And I think also maybe doing group meditations and recording how you feel about group meditations may help and make you feel differently. And that would probably be the only thing I would change about the experiment. The main question I have after this is just how long would it take for you to see the effects of mindfulness, and how long before you really notice it, and if it changes between people or if there's like a general time before you know that. And another question I would have is, do people's life experiences impact them practicing meditation and achieving mindfulness? and I would be interested to figure that out. Wrapping it all up, I would say I'm very glad to participate in this experiment. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm going to continue to meditate, and I don't know if I will continue to record it, but I think that was also a big factor. I think it's nice to be able to write down how you felt. Overall, my state of being, I don't feel like it changed too much, but I think if I had meditated more and for a longer period of time, I will see the effects of it. I think from what we've learned from our lectures, that mindfulness is all it's cracked up to be. It just takes time and discipline to achieve this, and that was how I felt about this experiment. And goodbye.